Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Talking Into the Void. This whole new setup for OBS. I don't know if I should have downloaded the new thing. It's not terrible, but they changed where my fucking mute things are. But joining me as always is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. Yourself?
It's a day. Join us as well as Angela. Angela, how you doing?
I am doing okay. I've got a journey ahead.
It'd be that
I'm
way.
settling in with it.
Where are you journeying to?
Well, and joining us as well as Will at Forge. Will, how you doing?
I owe my soul to the company store, but otherwise, not too bad.
Sorry.
All I can say is apparently it's been one hell of a week. Even though technically with it being Sunday, it's not depending on where you're at. It's now the beginning of a new week. And that, I mean, we've had several celebrities die. Trump had an attempted assassination. And I will say it's like apparently, or it's like also apparently the assassin was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. So it's like, this is going to get weird.
It's already gotten weird. I was listening to several, we'll call them pundits from the media trying to spin this.
Oh, they were spinning it the second it happened. He fell over, interrupted by loud noises. All sorts of crap like that.
The recent one I heard is like they dig through his Discord, because somehow Discord gave him the information, and they can't determine his motives.
Well, no, I'm just saying that
Okay.
because, like, with him having a Demolition Ranch shirt, Demolition Ranch is a YouTuber who's a veterinarian by trade, but also does a lot of gun tube stuff.
Uh huh.
I mean, there's already the people being like, "Oh, well, this just shows that we need gun control," and it's like, not really, considering the fact if that's as good as the left can shoot, I'm fine.
But you know what? I have this novel idea. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Now, criminals don't follow the laws.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind when I say this.
And
Well, that's
I got this personal notion too. Any politician that pushes any bill for gun control should be denied all security details.
Mm-hmm.
Ha, I
Or their
like that.
security detail.
And legally prohibited from having paid bodyguards.
Oh no, I have no problem with them having paid bodyguards, but paid bodyguards cannot have anything more than the old meat mittens. They don't get brass
Well,
knuckles. Okay, I'll let them have a pocket knife if they need that. They can't even have a
Let 'em-
slingshot.
let them have pepper spray.
I have a dog whistle.
They don't even get, they do not get bear spray though. They got to go to like fucking Walmart and pick up that cheap shit fucking pepper spray that's kind of works.
The little keychain ones that you can get in the checkout lane.
Yeah. I mean, we could be the assholes and be like, no, dude, we're going to do this like, what was it, Shrek 2? And instead of having the pepper spray, they're going to have a pepper grinder. That parody was amazing. Instead of it being cops, it's like, knights! It's like that.
Yeah.
They fucking put a pepper grinder in his face. Uh, and then I know this week's going to be a weird one because I got 2 12s I got to work. But by doing that, as of at least right now, that means we won't be coming in on Saturday. Since we don't have a third shift, I'm like, yeah, I'll take working 12s over having to come in on Saturday. And it's not 12s the entire fucking week.
I would love to work 12-hour shift, 10-hour shifts on my job, because that would mean I have an extra day off.
Oh, if we got to that, yeah, no, we just have 2 12-hour shifts we're going to work this week. So we don't have to work that Saturday. We're still hoping we could get to where we work 4 10-hour shifts. I mean,
realize I remember my time off schedule, I'll be available for Never Watch Alone the next 2 weeks.
Sweet.
Nice.
See, I wouldn't be available for any of that because I'd be working 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. most likely.
And it would probably be a good thing for me to do because certain times next couple of weeks my head is not going to be anywhere worth being.
I was saying, I already know that, like, some people be like, oh, it's only like 2 12-hour shifts. That's not so bad. It's like, bro, I've already had it to where basically for 3 months straight, I worked 14-hour shifts, or was at least at work for 14 hours.
Again,
Yeah.
Well, I say
My
at
biggest
work
thing-
because Afghanistan, you might have been at work. You weren't always working, obviously.
for me, my biggest thing is if I'm there, I'm already there. We're only on Sundays where it become a problem where I need to leave early because, friend.
Hey, man, I'm still pretty happy I got out early on Thursday because the fucking power outage. Transformer blew a little bit down the road from the factory, and like we had lost power earlier, then it came back on, and then we lost power for a little bit, came back on, then we lost it again. And then apparently like an
that
hour,
should be a
hour and a
common
half.
thing.
Then apparently an hour and a half after we left it, fucking blew it, or it came back on. Well, I mean, this is the whole thing of like the shit down in fucking Texas, to where they're like, oh, the power grid's whatever, and Abbott's nowhere to be seen. It's like, dude, that problem was way before Abbott was ever fucking involved. That's the people of Texas and the fucking governors of Texas not properly upgrade the goddamn power grid like they should, because, well, if we don't upgrade that, we can put that tax revenue to something else.
Oh, kind of like Katrina, where the levees failed because all the money that had been allocated for repair and maintenance on them went to like statues and stuff like that.
Or how
Yeah.
companies are like, oh, no, we don't need to put money towards cybersecurity. Hey, man, we got hacked and now they're ransoming our shit back to us. Why didn't you guys have better cybersecurity? We've been telling you that your shit was outdated for fucking years.
My employer is super paranoid about cybersecurity, but if you work in the financial industry, you have to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for fuck's sake, we're seeing the ones of like power companies and shit that they're like, yeah, the stuff to control the actual shit, making the power, controlling it and whatnot. That's on the regular internet. It's like, what the fuck is that doing on the regular internet? That shit
What?
should be on a fucking closed circuit.
Yeah.
Say local network, and I would, I've done enough of this. I would open the door for a VPN tunnel, but you have to have that VPN locked down in such a way that it's you have to have multiple security checks on the incoming connection, and then it has to be applied a internal network address and have that equipment refuse a connection from anything that's not an internal address.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Well, that was like the funnest part for when I was in the military for. Oh, god damn it.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. I can't remember what the hell the system or the program was called. Like, I keep wanting to say IMDS, but that sounds right. It's like Integrated Maintenance Data Sheets or Data System, I think. But for the longest time, they're like, well, like I got talking to him, it's like, well, we do have it set that your role can only do so much and whatnot. And it's like, okay, then why am I having to change my password every month? Well, we don't want the enemy to get it. Okay, so you don't want the enemy to somehow guess my 18-character password that also has to have a specific terminal number that's not currently in use, to where they're gonna what? Put a red X on the aircraft? Because that's all my privileges allow me to do? They're like, shut up. Like that was pretty much everyone's. I mean, they finally changed to where we didn't have to change their password until it was like once every 3 months, and it's still just like again, 18-character password. You know, including uppercase, lowercase numbers, and special characters.
18 character alphanumeric, both cases, special characters, your firstborn son, blood of a virgin.
We didn't quite have to have that many characters in our password, but it was still a pain in the ass to try to remember.
I have so many different systems at work, and some of them won't take, like, you can't have less than 9 or 10 characters. Some of them can't have more than 8, and
Like I already,
some of the stuff is still running on a mainframe that's 40 years old.
oof. Well, it's like I already know
Oh.
I'm gonna have to redo all my work passwords again because I have to every time I log on because I log on like twice a year. I log on to the shit to be able to see my paycheck more often than anything.
Oh, I'm accessing all kinds of systems all over the place every day. Oh, I think I'm getting a thunderstorm.
Hey, what's up,
Oh.
Badger? I mean, yeah, they've had a thing for the weather
Go
all
Green.
day.
And that's either a thunderstorm or somebody in Cutlerville is firing off a shotgun.
Could be both.
I'll be
That's about the
honest,
right.
I don't have
It's
any-
about the right distance for Cutlerville.
Oh, and since we talked about the assassination attempt earlier, do you see the shit fucking Matt Jarbo posted?
I did not.
No.
What words did the Boulder King say?
Well, it's that whole meme of like to choose one or the other. Hold on.
Oh, was that the leftists are pussies or Democrats? The one that Monkey commented on.
Probably.
Notifications. Ranting Monkey. There. Scroll. Yeah, leftists are pussies or Democrat tried to kill Trump.
Yeah.
They
'Cause, like,
can't
even,
be
like,
mutually- they're not mutually exclusive.
Man Squatch and Darth Mandalore are both like, you do realize it can be both, right?
He's a fucking idiot. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
I think Frosted had shared it and he's just like, man, it's almost like someone who doesn't like someone else, so they go through and false flag their fucking videos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Monkey shared it and said, be a lot easier with a third button that says both, you pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And there's a person who was just like, apparently they said we were 2 inches away from democracy, but he missed. It's like killing your opponent isn't democracy, you fucking retard.
I was gonna say, how
Oh no,
in
apparently.
the hell is that democracy?
Oh no, the really funny part is because Insane Cope was the one who posted this from someone's thing. Apparently, this cold weather enthusiast replied to them saying, "Just like you were probably 2 inches away from being a woman."
Oh,
Ooh.
oh.
Man. Dusty. God damn.
Wow.
Say the
Savage. Man. A lot of savages.
Wow.
just totally lost the train of thought. Majorly derailed.
I was gonna say there was a train.
There was something. I don't know if it was a train.
Oh, and then
Maybe it was just a cable car, but
I'll have to say so far, like watch this whole thing that the Tremor site. It's like, but Burt Gummer would vote for Donald Trump. I'm like, Burt Gummer ain't gonna vote for either fucking party because he's gonna say they're both full of shit.
Exactly.
Gummer doesn't vote.
Bert Gummer is sitting in his bunker laughing his ass off. Well, not after Trump got shot. But
No, I don't think he's laughing his ass off.
No,
They shot
Gummer is
the
sitting there
So-
criticizing the shooter for missing.
Yeah, well, one on that, but also two, if we're gonna follow the Tremor series, technically the guy who plays him couldn't make this video because technically Burt Gummer's dead.
don't remind me.
yeah, I was gonna say, did you have to bring that up too?
Yeah.
So many people died this week.
What? He died this week?
No, don't say that. I mean, unless you watched that movie this week, in which case, yeah, I guess.
It still
Oh.
hurts.
No, there was a question regarding that
Oh no, he's still alive. Thank you, Jesus.
missed democracy by 2 inches thing. The person was like, "What does democracy mean to leftists?" And go with P Dog Knights thing. It means Democrats in power.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean Republicans dead.
You know what? I keep saying this, and I'll continue to say this, and I won't stop saying it. It shouldn't be team sports. Hey, James, it's not team sports. It is what best aligns with your vision for the future
Yeah,
of our
but
country.
for some
And like I
reason,
said yesterday, 75% is good.
for some reason, when I talk to you, it sure sounds like you've chosen it.
I did choose it. Like again, like that. I was pushed on this side. Like literally, everything I cannot stand. You know, identity politics. You know, child mutilation, mass immigration, unfettered immigration, stagnant growth. Yeah, I was kind of pushed on this. I'm registered as an independent.
Hey, I'm with you there, Badger. I know exactly what democracy meant to the founding fathers. It meant one of the greatest political evils of the time that they both hated and feared, and
Democracy is
hoped
two
would
wolves.
never come to the United States.
Democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. And a republic is a well-armed sheep contesting the vote.
Yeah, they were very clear on their opinion of the subject, which is when you get to Biden's last speech of the day today from the Oval Office, which I got as far as him talking up democracy and keeping it in this country, what the founding fathers gave us. And I'm like, you rat bastard.
I got one better for you. I find it funny that he brings up the attack on Paul Pelosi when, if I'm not mistaken, the PAC was an illegal Canadian immigrant and hardcore leftist.
Well, he equated every single attack on everybody on the left side
And
in the last
well, to go back for a second to because I finally remember what I was trying to do and stop scrolling Twitter and just looked up Frost. And this is what he put, because Matt Jarbo's, lefts are pussies, Democrat tried to kill Republicans, like the internal struggle of the MAGA moron. And he says, assassins are pussies. They can't win legitimately, so they have to cheat, for the lack of a better term, by murdering their opponent. It's kind of like if you don't like a YouTube video, so you false flag it, pussy shit like that.
Ooh,
Oh, shots fired.
I was about to say the same damn thing and thought better of it because
with a howitzer at point blank range.
No. Fucking didn't use a gun. He dropped a fucking tactical nuke and walked away.
He's got an interest. I haven't turned the audio on, but he's got a interesting one on Harry Sissy's. People are having medical emergencies at Trump rallies, and he doesn't care.
And no one can tell me that kid isn't fucking gay. Like I look at him and I can't see anything but hi.
Apparently, he's got a minute 4 video that he posted about this 2 days ago.
Oh, what, Sisson?
Yeah. So
I would
about
love
people
to
having
know.
people having medical emergencies at Trump's rally, and he doesn't care. And Frost's response: Abe Lincoln's insistence on being the center of attention completely ruined the play for everyone else in the theater.
But you know they would consider Abe Lincoln a monster nowadays.
Like, I think my thing for Harry Sisson, I'd have to tell him, like, look, dude, I don't care whether or not you're actually gay. You don't have to be the stereotype. Like, you're giving gay people who already are stereotypes naturally a bad name.
Look, just come out and say you
Oh.
old balls. Look, I'd have more respect for you if you said that. Like just let him put it right on your forehead, right here. Man.
What's wrong?
Just put it right on your forehead and let just go at it.
Hey, what's going on, Mitch? If you're wanting to join, you're more than welcome to. If you're not feeling up to
Yo,
it, don't
man,
worry.
you know. And posting the Never Watch Alone channel, and it saddens me that I don't think they'll make that movie. It doesn't have enough money.
Are you talking about the Batman one?
Yeah, they want 60,000 to make it, and it's only at like 16, 17.
Oh, I like this. When you're dressed all in black and someone asks, whose funeral is it? Looking around and saying, I haven't decided yet is typically a good response.
Oh, heck, I don't know if any of you follow your smartass, Carl. Yeah, I can't. It was July 12th.
Never even heard of it.
He predominantly does pro-gun stuff. He is an African-American male who has talked about how he has been shot. He was a hardcore Democrat. He doesn't really say whether or not he's a Republican or anything, but he's very into guns now and has been for a few years. So he's very promoting of the ownership of guns for, it's like minorities and women and everything else. I will separate them because if we're just including women as a whole, they're typically over half the population. But I digress. He shared a video of I want to say he's already a felon who was in prison, and he's having to face in court because he killed a pedophile
Hold on.
in the
hold on.
cell.
Wait a minute. Mitch,
Yes.
what you just said was funny as fuck.
Which one?
In chat, Harry Sisson is so gay that George Takei is taking him back.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh
screw
my.
Ooh, my.
Oh,
But yeah, so apparently the pedophile was actually even a bit bigger in stature than he was, or it's like in size.
You talking about Joe Biden?
No, this is from your smartass, Carl.
Ah.
And he's explained to the judge. He's like, "Look, I was in prison. Unfortunately, it's like in jail or whatever. We had to deal with that. It's like I knew what he was in for. I told him just to leave me alone, go to bed, and he could get in. We try to figure out a way so he can get a different cellmate tomorrow." And the dude
Stop talking about it.
he wouldn't stop talking about it. He kept trying to justify it, and so he ends up killing him.
Yep.
Oh my!
And I'm like,
Pedophile.
yeah, man. The old saying is true. Prisons takes care of pedos way better than the government does.
Yes, it does.
Oh, Ryan, I feel sympathy He had to waste that energy killing that poor, the dirty, degenerate pedo. Such a shame.
I like that guy's what he actually said was, um, he said that he something about he set up the meeting for him for the pedophile to meet his maker.
There you go.
Wow.
Penciled him in for a visit from the Angel of Death.
Say, Rotten tagged you in a meme.
Yeah, I've
and-
seen that one before.
Look,
Secret
It's
Service
not my
didn't
fault.
need to have a CIA agent on the or it's like CIA didn't have to have Secret Service agent on the roof.
Yeah,
I mean-
it's it's that meme with the Rock in the car.
Mhm.
That's the remake of
Escape
Witch
to Witch Mountain,
right?
yeah.
You know, it's like, why didn't they have Secret Service on the roof? No reason to have the CIA and the Secret Service on the same roof.
Exactly.
hey,
Speaking of remakes, did you see that they're remaking Time Bandits?
I
Oh,
did
God.
not. I can't imagine they're not going to destroy it.
I saw the trailer. It stars Lisa Kudrow
wow.
Oh,
as aged, out of demand actress number 78. And
is it supposed? Is it a remake?
yes, it is.
Okay, because I could see her playing an adult Sarah Polley.
I don't know who Sarah Polley is.
The
The lead in what?
main character from Time Bandits, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the main character for Time Bandits was a boy.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different movie. Sorry,
Yeah, I don't think I've
okay.
ever seen that one.
I was thinking of The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen.
Munchausen. Okay.
That'd be kick ass. No, it wouldn't, because they would ruin that too. Because the only one that can play the Emperor of the Moon is fucking Robin Williams, and anyone that ever steps in his shoes should be killed.
Well, this trailer for Time Bandits that I saw, I couldn't help but notice ITV. So yeah, it's going to be shit.
Are they not trying to make?
They, I don't know what the fucking deal is, man. I looked at the like I said, I saw the trailer. They displayed some of the jokes, and you know how trailers are today, man. They display the best stuff they got.
90%
This shit
of the
is
Yeah,
time.
funny.
They pretty much show the whole.
This shit is the jokes they're telling or they're doing in this film apparently are jokes that were old 15 20 years ago in a
Oh.
style that was old 15 20 years ago. You know what this is? You remember Friday the 13th part 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember the two guys in the 57 Chevy dressed like I don't know if it was a 57 Chevy, but it was a vehicle of that vintage, and they're dressed like extras from fucking West Side Story
Ah!
in a movie that's set in 1980 something,
I remember
like
what you're
1986 or
talking
so.
about. Their car
it's-
broke down.
Yeah, their car broke down, they get killed, but they're for some reason dressed like street toughs from a
From
West
Side Story.
a broke ass production of West Side Story. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't start dancing, to be honest. And it's that thing. It's
Well-
that thing where a filmmaker it's where a filmmaker gets stuck. This was the thing I grew up with and I always liked. So let's make a thing based on that. And yeah, liking West Side Story and trying to do a Friday the 13th movie is a bad mix, motherfucker.
Yeah, if
The
you're
same
gonna,
thing here with
Well,
Time
you
Bandits.
know,
it's that whole thing where if you're
I
gonna
think
have,
that
go ahead, James.
I think that director was ahead of his time. You know, because he put two thespians in a movie.
Fascinating.
I was gonna say it's one of those things like you can have a reference to West Side Story in there, but you have to have it be like a minor background character that's just walking by.
Well, yeah, these were nothing characters. They each had like 2-3 lines of dialogue and got
Yeah,
killed.
And then got dead.
The problem,
Mitch.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the first Beverly Hills Cop?
yes,
Do you know that when as Foley walking down the street, they see somebody in red leather, which is reference to Eddie Murphy's
the
Raw?
Michael Jackson outfit. Yeah.
No, it was a reference to Eddie Murphy's Raw. He wore a.
Oh yeah, that's
red-
true. He did.
Yeah, and
except
that's
for-
why.
Except for his was purple. His was purple and black.
No, in Raw
It was red.
Oh, yeah, it
red.
was Raw.
And, it was
That's
the
right.
one the follow up where it was a blue one.
It was
blue
the
leather
purple.
outfit.
I can't remember the name of that special.
Well, Jesus Christ, how many fucking specials has he had where he's worn leather now?
So in around that time frame, he had Raw was I think one of his first, and then he did at least 2 more after that.
Yeah, because
So
I
that's
do.
what it-
Yeah, because now that you remember, it mentioned. Yeah, I do remember the red leather one, but I also remember him wearing the purple one at one point.
And that's that. And he did another one because he had just finished making Golden Child.
Oh God.
That wasn't a bad movie.
I actually
just-
liked that movie. It wasn't great, but it was fun.
Stupid.
You know what the
Victor Wong
tragedy
is
of
fucking alive.
you know what the tragedy of Friday the 13th Part 5 is?
What?
Mind
Wasn't
you,
that Dream Warriors?
No. Different
Dream
franchise.
Child.
No, Friday the 13th Part 5 is
Oh my bad. God damn, I'm thinking about
is
Dream
fake.
Warriors.
It's fake Jason the movie, but it's
Damn,
also
yeah.
the middle chapter in the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. And the
Okay.
great tragedy of that is that the filmmaker never took the time, or maybe never even had this idea. This is something I came up with just watching it, and it like clicked in my head. The movie is like way over the top in
Mhm.
almost every way, and it occurred to me that what we're seeing in that film, Tommy Jarvis is just getting out of a sanitarium, and he's
Mhm.
going to Pinehurst halfway house to help integrate back into regular society. So he's probably still on all kinds of medications, and as a result, he's probably amped up emotionally.
Mhm.
And that's how we're seeing the world in that movie, is as if we're in the same condition as Tommy Jarvis. That's why the movie is so way over the top. I think it's trying to tell the story that way, but it doesn't succeed in explaining that to the viewer.
Honestly, all I really remember about that one, aside from the fact that it wasn't actually Jason, was that chick that does the robot is actually really good at it.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, it just kind of reminded me of. I still want to watch the movie, but it's a zombie movie to where, like, 2 couples end up getting infected, but like I want to say it's everything you see in color is what they think they're seeing, but
I
then
know
it'll
what you're
switch to black and white to where it's them actually being zombies.
Oh, cool.
Zombies.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I
It
think
just
it's-
looks so fucking interesting.
when
the-
they're eating the zombie ice cream.
The other fun part of Part 5, Friday the 13th Part 5, is that the Roy Burns story, that's the fake Jason, is a story that's very similar to Pamela Voorhees.
Mhm.
I mean, she's got a special needs kid who wasn't properly observed and died as a result. Same thing with Roy Burns.
Mhm.
And again, I think the movie doesn't do very well at explaining that parallel.
Mhm.
It's too bad. There's a lot of good stuff in that movie. It's just anyway. I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go into movie land.
Parallel. I mean, the only other thing I could really bring up is the shit that I saw on Twitter about coming from Lucas something or other that
Oh.
does T-Rex arms. I want to say it is on YouTube, of like basically mad guys on YouTube acting gay. Because if you remember the video that I shared of like To Do This Window where it shows the guy shooting the pink Glock, that, from what I'm aware of, that is Print Shoot Repeat, who does 3D printed guns. And in one of his most recent things that he's done for a 3D printed one, He does have a front forward grip that is a giant butt plug, but he did that because for some odd reason, it never gets used on anyone. It's not dirty. It's just there. It's a prop on the gun. But he got sponsored by a bondage gear company. Now, he is above the age that you're required to, and his videos are not catered towards children. So he even wore some of the bondage gear, but you could not see anything. Like everything was, it's like everything was still covered, but he was wearing bondage gear. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, if you look him up on Twitter, it's print, shoot, repeat. And then like apparently this dude Lucas has been going nuts trying to be like, no, we got to get rid of the homosexuals and the blah blah blah. And just the more he tries, like, dude, I understand you're married, but you look like the biggest twink of the bunch.
Well,
Plus, everyone is also calling you out on all the dumb shit you've done to where, like, you're trying to sew something cool, but you end up flagging the entire class that you're supposed to be teaching with your fucking rifle.
You look like Harry Sisson. Sorry.
No, he looks like he's got more testosterone than Harry Sisson.
Oh, okay.
But he still looks like he would most likely be a power bottom.
Oof.
Like I've watched a couple. Like
Activate.
here's the thing: is I've watched a couple of his videos and whatnot, and they're not bad. It's just one of those things. For some things, you need to learn to just walk away. And when it comes to the whole people that you're gonna have like print, like that you're gonna have the 3D printers, guys, and the fuckers like that. So like that's gonna include. It's like after you get past the 3D printers, you're gonna start looking at like Brandon Herrera and Donut Operator. Like you're gonna get into some weird shit. I mean, we've already seen what's come out of Demolition Ranch's group, or at least someone who likes Demolition Ranch.
I don't even know what Demolition Ranch is, but I suddenly have a feeling that I'm good with that.
Well, Demolition Ranch is another gun tuber. He also has a off the, or it's like I can't remember what his other thing that's not off the ranch because he's also a veterinarian.
Okay.
But apparently, the guy who shot at Trump was wearing one of his shirts. Supposedly. And what's funny is because now it's
I
going to
got
be
a couple X's to doubt on that.
And what's
but-
funny, well, the funny part from that is now someone's going to be like, yeah, Matt, you know, we understand and you are going to be a much bigger YouTuber now. And the biggest thing, though, is that people are going to tell you that your fans can't shoot for shit.
oh, oh. Wow.
Because, like, Donut Operator is not technically a gun tuber, really. He does shit with Brandon Herrera. And Brandon Herrera does all of his own guns. And that predominantly, like,
Operator's more about,
yeah. Donut Operator does the whole thing of, like, getting all the body cam, dash cam, and any cell phone camera footage from typically shootings that involve cops.
Yeah, that's what it is. He that's what he more is, you know.
Oh, I was actually going to bring that up earlier, Will. With the way things are going, we might see the return of my favorite type of Korean, the rooftop Korean.
The rooftop Korean?
Ah, God, I love the rooftop Korean.
There's nothing more American than a rooftop Korean.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would feel safe in a neighborhood with, like, I am actually 90% sure that I'm not even 90% sure. I'm 100% sure I would feel safe in an area with rooftop Koreans.
I would too.
Sure.
I'm not a
I
thing.
absolutely would.
Hell yes. Get Uncle Roger up there and just fucking have a day of it, you know?
Go by, wave
I'm
at him.
hardly- I don't like to promote violence. I go very far out of my way not to promote violence, but I
Mhm.
still think that tyranny should be met with a sharp and efficient response. But that doesn't mean it has to be violence, does it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
And-
I'm gonna be slightly racist.
You're gonna be what?
I'm gonna be slightly racist here.
Okay.
I love that you turned around and just came up with Uncle Roger when we all know his name is Harry Truth, whatever his last name.
Yeah. Well, that's the character he plays. And I was leaning into the character of Uncle Roger. But anyhow,
Now I'm lost on that one.
he's
Every time there is a Korean character in a TV show, or they lean into it on Vietnamese people as well.
yeah.
Their name is Harry Truman, whatever their last name is.
Mm.
My name's Harry Truman Wang.
Yeah, I don't
For
pay that much
example,
attention to it.
21 Jump Street, the Asian guy's name was Harry Truman Aoki.
Oh yeah.
My name's Harry Truman the Wing.
And I noticed that his real name was Nguyen.
Well, Wing is a common last name for most Koreans, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope, that's Vietnamese. Nguyen is a Vietnamese name.
See, I thought I'm mistaken. I stand corrected.
Sorry.
Like orthopedic
No,
shoes.
I wasn't trying to be facetious. I stand corrected.
I am curious. Do you guys have any ideas for nonviolent ways to address tyranny?
Yes.
Honestly, I used to turn around and complain about walkouts at schools. I was like, no, you go into your classroom, you sit down, and you refuse to leave.
Yeah.
That would be a different way to do it. Yeah, but I should amend the nonviolent part because it's not just about violence. I'm looking at nonviolent yet legal.
Mitch, do you remember what you
Oh, some
told-
more
the
towards
story
the
you
thing
told
of
me?
like civil disobedience.
No, it's not civil. Well, yeah, it could be civil disobedience, I suppose. But
Mitch,
yes.
do you remember the story you told me about the gentleman in the pizza restaurant?
Oh, the one where I think I might have fucked up his marriage?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Again,
Be
that's-
creative.
I mean,
Nonviolent.
you either go across that way, or my next personal favorite isn't the civil disobedience, but is the malicious compliance. Also going from that into having the like pushing the law or whatever to where you're technically not doing anything illegal, but it's just going to irritate the shit out of them. Like for
Well, yeah.
the like if it were for the going with what Angela said about the schools and whatnot, and them going through the dress code. There's nothing that states you can't go in a clown costume. Have 8 people show up in a clown costume. Oh, you can't carry this, carry a briefcase. So you can't carry this type of bag, carry a briefcase. There's nothing that says you can't. And just completely, you have like 6 people go over all of the rules and like 6 different groups all doing something different to where they're technically not breaking any rules to where the teachers or faculty cannot say anything against them.
I tell you what, you want to know what scares authoritarians?
What?
Discipline. Have you ever seen that movie Malcolm the 10th? Malcolm X.
Yes.
Malcolm the 10th.
Yeah, Malcolm the 10th. Well, that was the name of the movie.
I haven't seen the first 9 Malcolms, so I'm
Yeah,
not known
I
for the
can't-
10th.
I can't say.
Well, yeah.
say
See, I mean,
about
it's weird how that works. But Malcolm X, when a fella got arrested, and the police were playing their fucking games,
Mhm.
Malcolm went into that precinct and demanded to see his buddy. And the cops were playing games right up until the cops realized that the precinct was surrounded by a horde of black people. And what did these black people do that was so scary?
Stood there.
Absolutely nothing. They stood there, organized and silent. They were well disciplined.
Yeah, because it's not the whole thing of that you're meeting them with great violence. It's that you're meeting them with discipline, showing that you are capable of great violence. That great
Exactly.
violence is on the table. You know,
Now-
it's an option. It's not the main option.
Right. Now, when you get modern protesters who are busy waving signs and getting in costumes and doing chants and sing-alongs, like a bunch of fucking children. That's not scary because that's not disciplined.
Just stand there in a row holding signs silently.
No, don't even hold a sign. Just stand there in a row
Just stand there.
and look
Actually,
at
if
these
any-
motherfuckers like they owe you an explanation.
Actually, if you're going to hold a sign, you don't have it held up. You have it to where the bottom of the sign that you would normally hold is at the ground, almost as if you're leaning on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a way to do it, but I would advise against the sign
Yeah.
because unless it doubles as a shield, to be honest, and an effective shield.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Oh,
There's
God.
Sandwich Board,
But
that
that's-
would be a good field.
That's the shit that's going to scare somebody, okay? And that is perfectly legal to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly legal and it's nonviolent. Does it carry a threat? Yes, it absolutely does. But the threat is not vocalized. It's not in any way communicated that can be used against you in a court of law.
No, because until it's acted upon, yes, you could do violence, but there's nothing that states you're going to.
Right.
And unless they can prove it, they can't arrest you for it.
You know, like if I wrote on the internet, I would I will not shed a tear when Nancy Pelosi is hit by a truck. If I write
Oh.
that sentence on the internet, there's nothing anyone can do about it. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not saying someone should go and do that. I'm saying that if it happens, I'm not going to shed a tear. And when I say if it happens, it's a pretty clear indicator that I have no intent of making it happen myself.
And make
So,
it
yes,
extra
no,
ironic.
no,
Let it
people
be
can
a
listen to that.
drunk driver leaving her place after
yeah,
some time
leaving-
with her husband.
Leaving the
Well,
the hammer
driver-
party with her husband, yeah.
Her.
There's something I want to add to Mitch's thought about Malcolm X when with his Muslim sect that were out front of that police building. It's not so much that they were out there and quiet and peaceful. It's more of how they were all wearing the same thing.
Oh, that
It was
that too.
almost a uniform.
Yeah, they were all wearing.
I mean,
like
it was a
like
show.
a jacket, a shirt, and a tie.
Actual collectivism.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it-
It
that
was one of those
demonstrates
things
that
that
they're of
we're
a
all on
mind.
the same page.
Hmm.
Right. The closest we got to that today is
And-
Black Bloc,
Oh, God, the black bloc.
and even then, the
And if
Black
they just
Bloc.
wasn't so damn,
Go on, James.
if Black Bloc wasn't so damn retarded with their, what is it?
The
Ninja
mask.
dress
The
up
mask.
and all that, they could be a serious threat.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is the
But
whole thing
it's a
about them
keyword
being in a
missing.
sort of uniform is undermined by their pissy little chanting, rhyming
See.
faggotry, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Remember the old expression? I subscribe to this. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Just don't be a fag about it.
Exactly.
To quote South Park with the biker episode, you can be a biker. It's like you can be gay and not be a fag.
Right.
And they bring up the whole
Exactly.
thing. So it's like you're walking. It's like you're going through. It's like you're driving, and it's your turn. It's your time to turn. Instead of turn, some guy in a BMW cuts you off. What's the first thing that goes through your head? Fag.
Yeah. It's not always, it's not an exclusively sexual thing.
No, that's kind of like when you use the term retard. It's not meant to be,
All right, retard is not something you call a retarded person.
no.
It's what you
Or call
call
somebody a
people who.
pussy.
When you call someone a retard, you're calling them out on a stupid decision they make when it's obvious that they should know better.
Yeah.
It's obvious
Exactly.
because they're not retarded. You're retard,
It's like when you call somebody a pussy. You're not just
Well, for one, the whole thing of pussy, like that everyone tries to go with, is it does not it was never a derivation of vagina. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shortened for that one, which is to actually mean timid and weak.
Yes.
But I mean,
sometimes
that's
it
the
is
way
funner.
language evolves sometimes. Like the whole fact of "Hey, how are you?" was actually meant as a of making fun of predominantly Asian and Native Americans back in the day
I know
because their
that
English wasn't the
easier.
greatest. So it'd be like, "Hey, how are you?" You know, so that's how it kind of come up like, "Hey, how are you?"
I got an
Well, they
easier
got the
one.
joke of the "Hey, how are you?" "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
Right. I got an easier one. Do you know what a naked name is?
A
A
what?
naked man or a naked man?
No, a naked name.
No. he-
Naked
Uh,
name.
Yes, it's a naked name.
Not right offhand.
You have one. Right, of course, right? That's
Hmm.
not your real name. It's your naked name. It went from being a naked name
Yeah, to a
to a
nickname.
naked name to a nickname. The
oh,
word, it's when it's like when we shortened the words, like
Yeah.
naked became NECA name and then nickname.
hmm.
You know, it has changed over time because we've kept saying it so much. You know, hey,
What? Do
what's
you know
his
the
nickname?
etymology of the word sheriff?
No, I don't know the ecology of that word either. That word.
Is it
That's
Sharif?
actually a combination of a three-word phrase that's been condensed down to one word over time. It started out as referee of the Shire
Mm-hmm.
or the Shire ref,
Hmm.
and then
Oh, and then there's
and then
sharp.
sheriff evolved out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
wasn't
can
going
even
with my whole thing that I was thinking of. You know, of how I bring a certain rockin' that Sharif don't like to the Casbah.
do you know the origin? I used to explain this to people too. There's a song, "The Battle Cry of the Republic." My eyes are seeing the glory of the coming of the
Hmm.
Lord. He is stopping
He's
out the
jumping out the
wind.
vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. Yes, I know the song.
Yeah, it was once the Battle Cry of the Republic. It was a camp song sung by the Confederate Army.
Hmm.
Sounds about right.
Over
That is,
yeah,
that makes sense.
over time, it became a hymn because of the reference to the Lord, you know, and now it's sung predominantly in churches like that. But that's the origin of that song, you know.
I
It
tend to go back
started,
to Blazing Saddles on that.
it started off as something bad, or not necessarily bad, but started off something where it was a violent song, like it was a camp song they sung to keep themselves motivated, and
Yes.
now it's a hymn. It, things evolve.
Yes, but at least it I like it when they evolve in a way that makes sense.
Hmm.
I don't like the fact that suddenly the word decimate means to utterly destroy when its original meaning was to reduce by 1/10.
Well, I don't like how October is the 10th month when originally it was supposed to be the 8th. Fucking Julius and his fucking need to outshine his
Yeah.
predecessors.
Augustus.
Yeah, no, Julius added July, and then Augustus added uh, August.
Yes.
Fucking
Assholes.
asses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Badger,
How
it
about
doesn't
this one?
surprise me. YouTube has already been jumping the gun on the damn it. Oh, election season. That's the word I'm looking for. YouTube,
They
Meta,
delete your
X,
comment?
they're all playing their election season game. Don't make no mistake. Elon Musk is not pro free speech.
No.
He's pro free speech marketing. And I will spend the rest of my life calling his ass out on it.
Uh, Tier? How about
Yes,
this
sir.
one? Swing low, sweet
Sweet
chariot.
chariot.
Coming for
Yeah,
to carry me home. Yeah, I'm not singing that shit, man. I'm in
but
no condition.
how was the origin of that song?
Don't know that one, huh?
What
No,
about it?
sir.
Good old fashioned spirituals.
Are you going to say something, James, or did you just
Oh, I
want
already
to
did.
song?
I was just quoting Blazing Saddles.
Oh, when you was a slave, you sung like birds. Do you know the Camp Town races? The Camp Town races. No, we don't know that one. Camp Town races sing this song. Do da do da. Camp Town race that 5 miles long. All the do da day.
You know, have you figured this out yet? I'll say
What?
something, and if Tier knows
Oh
it, he
shit,
goes
that's
off
some
on that
thunder.
tangent.
James, what in the wild the sports is going on here?
Yeah, I didn't see. I'm in. I've got it set to live chat, Green Badger, and I saw neither of them.
I can't see your chats either.
I don't even have the video open. Give me a sec.
Jesus.
You know, Green, you could always just jump in around this Discord.
Where?
Talk.
Well, I mean, we've already got like 6 people in here. We don't really need to go above that too much.
That's true.
That's going a little too much. It's not like we were playing one of the games from
Hey, my friend,
Quibbage or something.
Cribbage.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? Completely legal, non-violent tactic I like.
What?
Denial of service.
Yeah.
You find out that one of your local cops has violated someone's rights, and that the police department has done nothing about it until a video went public and went viral, and then suddenly they care about it. That's when local businesses need to start saying, no, you're not allowed to come in here. Get out. That's when the whole department needs to be banned from every business until shit gets straightened out properly with public approval. In fact, you know what? This is another way that using the denial of service, you could do it like use it as a negotiation tactic. You know, until we get civil rights auditors in there doing these investigations, you're not allowed in our businesses any longer. Because that's who I'd rather have doing investigations when cops pull some shit. I don't want the cops investigating themselves. I want the civil rights auditors to do it. Because one, they know the fucking laws. The cops don't. The cops pick and choose.
The government has investigated itself and it's found that it has done nothing wrong.
Right. You know, just like
we
the
have
FBI
investigated ourselves.
Yeah, you know, just like the FBI will with his Trump assassination attempt. The FBI will basically investigate themselves and determine they've done nothing wrong.
Well, and with your earlier example about the police and denial of services, on the flip side of that, the cops can take their sweet ass time in investigating anything.
That's
so
true.
If there's any kind of mischief or fuckery in a business,
y'all haven't been hearing that thunder, have you?
I haven't.
No.
A little bit, but not where.
God damn.
Like,
James, are you saying that police can hold you hostage for investigating crimes that take place against your business?
I'm not going to say that they can. I'm just going to say shit happens when you party naked. Because we all know that some cops are bullies.
Yes.
Do I approve of that? Those tactics?
Yes, no. You do. Yes, you do. Go watch.
But does it happen? Yes.
You do have proof. Go watch any civil rights auditor's channel on YouTube.
No, what I'm saying though is that do I agree with those tactics?
Oh, of course not.
No. But does it happen? Yes.
But you know what else? There's a couple of interesting things in the Bill of Rights. The Second Amendment, and everyone's going to think I'm talking about guns, but they're wrong. The Second Amendment specifies a free state. And the rest of the Second Amendment around that The well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Arms are not exclusive to firearms. Arms are synonymous with the word weapons, and anything can be a weapon.
Well, more than just that, because
There's no weapon.
arms
There's no weapon
includes
around,
implements of
people over there.
defense too.
Yes,
Body armor that they want to ban is arms under the Second Amendment.
yes, it is. Now, you take the Second Amendment with everything it says and add to it the Ninth Amendment. God damn it, I should have looked it up before I started on this fucking. God damn it. Fucking. Arg. Because I want to make sure. I don't want to misquote it, is my issue.
Okay, well, calm down
Well,
and brief.
okay, while you're looking that
can't
up, I'm
breathe.
just going to say that
Look,
there is a
I'm busy
difference
cussing
between.
myself out. Here it comes.
So you're saying that
Stop.
there's ice in the chest and he needs some beef?
The Ninth Amendment reads now to do it in English.
What the hell?
The Ninth Amendment reads, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. That means if I'm retaining my right to fine government officials for their improprieties in office, then I have every right to issue that fine.
Yes, you do.
And I would go further to say that when they decide not to pay that fine, I have every right to report that agency, the people responsible, to a credit service.
Plus, there's also litigation your lawyer can do against him as well.
There is, yeah. I mean, if you want to go that route. But my point
Oh, you
there
can do
is,
both, technically.
with the Ninth and the Second Amendment, if you obey the rest of the amendments, you can. Thank you, Green Badger. I have a feeling that went up before I started reading it improperly. But if you're not violating rights in any other way, you can make the arrest. You can, and you got to be prepared to do that when the police decide to start denying their services, because they will. Not only that, though, they will engage in illegal acts against you, and that's why you need your exterior cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And your exterior cameras, any camera you have actually, counts as an arm used to maintain what? The security of a free state.
Oh, my favorite is seeing some of those videos to where it's like you'll hear the cop being like, well, I didn't agree to be filmed.
Yes.
And it's
you
like,
did the second you took that oath.
well, it's that whole thing of like, it doesn't matter whether or not you agreed to be filmed, considering you're an agent of the state or an agent of the federal government, so still an agent of the state who's supposed to be doing, it's like working within their duties. You are legally allowed to be filmed whether you want to be or not.
Yep.
That's where it's like,
Yep,
I'm
yeah.
still waiting back on I haven't looked into it, but of seeing the whole thing for Afro Man, of to where they're like, oh, well, he used this in a music video. It's like, yes. And you were supposed to be in accordance with your duties. I mean, granted, you weren't, because you were looking for shit you weren't supposed to when you fucking ate his cake or ate his fucking pie that his mom made.
Yep.
Like, that's his footage. He didn't fucking FOIA the body cam footage, although that should be as well.
Honestly,
Holy shit!
was that a
Heard
good?
that one.
We heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't
that
think
sounds-
there'd be as much when it's like when I'm on the first goddamn floor to hear it. God damn.
That was awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, I'm tired of our government being a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fed up with it, and we can't. I'm also fed up with us because we keep running to government, a known wretched hive of scum and villainy,
Mm-hmm.
to address their wretched hive of scum and villainy nature. And I'm sorry, but corrupt systems do not right themselves.
No.
They only
Yeah.
right themselves as a result of exterior pressure. For example, the release of body cam footage.
I mean,
or
hell,
the
you want to
release
look at
of
like
independently attained
of how shit became
footage.
corrupt and whatnot, or it's like, had an exterior force of that, of like how the system became corrupt. Look at back before, I'm even pretty sure for you mentioned that whole thing of it was like 8 people that actually pressured the fucking government to remove the percentage of what could be used for a loan, or not a loan, but the interest percentage that could be put on a loan. It used to be a federal law that it could not go above 11%.
Oh, yes.
And like 8 fucking people in business bullied the goddamn government to go do that because wasn't too long after the fucking Great Depression or during the Great Depression.
I bet it wasn't bullied as much as paid off.
Well, it was kind of that whole thing of like, well, you saw how the Great Depression was. We can easily make that happen again and make it miserable for everyone.
Well, that was the
Yeah, I guess that would be a combination of a bully and a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
still trying to figure out how they repealed Glass-Steagall.
Repealed
That
what?
economy you got there, be a shame if something happened to it.
Well,
Right?
I still like how apparently there is a a bill going through to actually ban senators from congressional stock trading. Or yeah, it's like senators struck, or it's like yeah, it was a senator struck a deal to ban congressional stock trading. And this is coming from a thing from people that run a Pelosi tracker on what she goes to buy for her stocks.
Right, when really what they ought to do is watch when she buys and do the same.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's
that's their whole
actually
thing.
there's an investment account that's all they do.
Yeah.
Is she buys, they buy the same for you. She sells, they sell the same for you.
Right on.
That's all they don't do any market research or anything. It's just what's Pelosi buying and selling.
Sounds about right.
Oh, if
Well,
you're in government, you
like
can't. You
that
shouldn't be able
there.
to own stock.
Well, I don't have
I wouldn't-
okay, hold on. I don't necessarily have a problem with them having stocks. But it's one of those things like I would say during the while they're running, or not while they're running, but while they're in
Well, they're
service, they
serving.
shouldn't be buying and trading then.
I don't have a problem with them owning stocks. I don't even have a problem with their account buying and selling stocks while they're in office. My problem is they should not have any control or influence of it.
Yeah.
You go into Congress, all investments in stocks need to be placed in a blind trust, and I mean double blind. The people running the trust doesn't know it's yours. You don't know who's managing it, and there is a group in the middle with a locked file that gets unlocked when you leave, and your account gets handed over to you again.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, hey, I want to invest this much in the market, but you can't specify what stocks it goes to. You can say, hey, I need to pull money out of my account. You don't have any say into what gets sold.
I'm for that.
Fair enough.
And it's just, I mean, I literally have no problem with any politician owning stocks and buying or selling during their time in office. My problem is with the information that they have, the specialized knowledge. If they have any control, it's insider trading. And the only reason why they're not penalized for it is they deliberately excluded themselves from a law that they apply to everyone else in the country. And I won't stand for that.
Oh yeah, that's like
Well, see,
here in
I
Michigan,
have-
because Badger, I don't know if you live in Michigan, because that's where like me, Monkey, and Will live, obviously. They
Yes,
put
do I.
forward the distracted driving law, but guess who's exempt from it? Cops.
Police. Yeah.
And they sure as fuck should not be.
Oh, hell no,
they
shouldn't be.
exempt cops from distracted driving laws everywhere. You know, they can be driving down the road with their field radio playing back from the dispatch, one hand on the CAD, one finger on the wheel with their shoulder holding their cell phone to the side of their head, and run over somebody and oh well.
Pretty much.
So,
Here's what we wrote regarding congressional compensation. What Arthur and I wrote. as an amendment. As an amendment to the Constitution, we wrote, beginning the third day of January following the ratification of this amendment by 3/4 of the states, Congress shall receive the following for their compensation: an annual salary equal to 220% of the national median income to be adjusted every 2 years. Now, I want to make clear, we want them to have enough money to do all the proper traveling they have to do from their district to the capital and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Well, from everything I'm
But
aware
at
of,
the same time,
well, then are we
at
getting
this-
rid of their travel expense account because they typically have those things? Okay, if we're doing it that way, then I can get behind it. 'Cause it's like if they're still supposed to have the, sorry to cut you off, the whole thing of like for travel, for food, for housing, and then still have their fucking salary. No, then their
No.
salary should be next to fucking nothing.
I agree. But notice the wording there: an annual salary equal to 220% of the national median income to be adjusted every 2 years. That means if the national median income goes down, they lose money.
Yep, I'm 100%
Oh,
for that.
I'm all for
The
that.
reason we did that was so that Congress would be inspired to do things that are good for business in America before we start getting into like NAFTA and these trade deals
Yeah.
with China and all these other fuck up countries. But that's the first one. The second one, Medicaid healthcare benefits shall receive the following for the compensation. They can have Medicaid healthcare benefits, though they may not be prevented from purchasing at their own expense private healthcare.
Yeah.
So they do get Medicaid, but they don't get super duper healthcare that citizens have no access to unless they pay for it themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't get the specialized health care that everybody in Congress gets right now. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. The third one, they get
revoking their exclusion from Social
from the laws that
Security.
they pass, basically. Yeah, you ready for that one? Because that one's next. Social Security.
Well, I've got a notion. Basically, any law making new prohibitions or causing new restrictions should be enforceable only on Congress and government employees for like the first 2 or 4 years after it's passed, and then they have to vote to reaffirm it before it can be applied to the normal, to the everyday citizens.
I like that idea actually. But Congress shall receive.
But any law that returns a liberty applies to the citizens first.
Exactly.
They have to put it in place for the citizens that same period of time before they can benefit from it.
Agreed.
Oh, the whole thing. I'll be back in just a moment. I gotta use the restroom.
All right. Bring something you can hear with you. That's weird.
Good.
The third one. The third one. Congress shall receive Social Security retirement, though they may not be prevented from funding at their own expense their own retirement plan.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So basically, Congress, you get fucked like everyone else. And Section 2 of this amendment is simply no other form of compensation shall be apportioned to the Congress. And that's it. Everything that they want special for them, they have to fucking pay for. Then we get into the limitations of qualified immunity amendment.
Ooh, I'm interested.
Again, just 2 sections. Section 1, qualified immunity shall apply only as described in Article 1, Section 6, Paragraph 1 of this Constitution. All other forms of qualified immunity, by any definition, are hereby rendered null and void in all jurisdictions within the United States of America and its territories. In short, dear government, fuck you.
free from arrest when attending or traveling to and from Congress, except in the cases of treason, felony, and breaches of the peace.
Right.
Nice.
And what it now start that over. Read that again, like the first 5 words.
Members of Congress to be free from arrest
Exactly.
when attending or traveling to and from Congress, except in cases of treason, felony, and breaches of the peace. Meaning is that they're not going to, they're not on the floor of, and they're not coming home from, they can be arrested.
Yes.
And they can
exactly.
still be charged.
Well, they
et
could be
cetera.
charged
It's-
regardless.
Yeah, they can be
Pissing
charged
rain
regardless.
outside.
So it's the only limitation that puts on is
Damn.
these are times when they can't be arrested.
Exactly. That's why we no fuck around. This whole book was I'm not even reading all the explanation stuff, but the whole book was geared toward unfucking based on the lessons we've learned in the last 240 years or so. The Constitutional Citation Amendment. Here's a fun one. I think that they may have a rule about this, but it's not codified in the amendments to the Constitution.
And
AC,
it's
turn the fuck
very
off.
clearly not really strictly enforced.
Right. This will be. Let's see. All proposed legislation shall include. I love that language. Shall include. It's not may, or it would be nice if it's no, it's going to include this. All proposed legislation shall include the full constitutional citation or citations that authorize its passage into law and must fall within the confines of the Bill of Rights as written. Again, it's a no fucking around amendment to the Constitution. I've read you guys one issue, one bill before.
Yeah.
That one's always
Yeah, I fucking that. I love that one. Honestly, I'm fucking tired of rider bills.
for the
Well, you
For the-
see, that would be the most fun I would have as president. It's like, give me single issue bills, because if it's got 2 or more things, I'm vetoing it. Just
Yeah.
boom.
Yep.
Mhm.
exactly. It's the kind of thing I would do too. I'd be like, no, fuck you, do it right.
I am your poison pill.
Not only that, I didn't think about this before, nor did Arthur. But I would make it a requirement that the representatives, the elected representatives, are the only ones who can write legislation. It can't be shuffled off to a bureaucracy or a political action committee or a group of
Oh,
donors.
basically have someone else write it for him.
Yeah, they can't have anyone else write it for them. They have to write it themselves.
See, I would
I knew that.
see.
That
I
would-
would throw one more thing into it. That every bill, every single issue bill, up before Congress must be read in total
Into the record.
Debated.
into the
Wait a minute.
congressional record
Oh yeah.
It should be read.
and
Is it-
have discussion time allotted before it can be passed.
Better than that before it can be
that?
before a vote can proceed.
Yeah, before any vote can be taken. Well, obviously it can't be passed without a vote being taken. But
I don't know if I
Right,
can
but-
necessarily entirely get behind that Badger, that if I see a paperclip, it's vetoed. Because they might have like stats backing the whole thing, and that's what's paperclip to it.
Right.
yeah, if they have 6 paragraphs of constitutional citation, here's what authorizes us to actually write a law in this area, and then data, graphs, and charts. This is why we feel we actually have to write a law that's within our authority to write. Congress feels like they got to pass laws just because they can. They
Yeah.
should be passing laws only because they feel they must
Yeah, they are
to
actually
address something that's
necessary.
directly inside their authority. So
Well,
maybe
yeah, like-
you've got 3 or 4 pages of this is why we have the legal authority to write this bill, and this is why we feel we must.
But
For example, the U.S. Army is not allowed as a standing army under the Constitution, but the legislators can legislate its continuation on a regular basis,
Mhm.
which is what they have to do. They,
Yeah.
they have to reauthorize the existence of an American army. I think every year. But
and saying besides,
the Navy's a different story because the Constitution allows for a standing Navy.
you don't fuck with America's boats. But as I was saying, besides Badger, it shouldn't be. There should be no reason it should have a paperclip. It should be stapled. And I would go through and make regulations of where that staple has to be, just because I want to fuck with them. And by the way, they can't have a jig for that staple. They have to measure it and do it all on their own.
Yes.
See, as somebody that's had to unfasten documents for archival scans, staples are of the devil. So I'm okay if you put those provisions in there, as long as your provision is there must also be attached loosely attached a second copy of the same document, single-sided, with no more affixtures to it than a single paper clip to hold the pages together, in the same file, delivered at the same time for archival purposes.
That I get
Indeed.
behind, because that whole thing of like having a paperclip means they could try to slip something in there.
That's true.
Yeah, and then but you can
Tape
you
is
can
right out.
compare, yeah, you can compare page to page,
Yeah.
see that it's the same. You've got your archival copy, but at the same time, you've been able to screw with them royally about the, hey, it must be stapled exactly this way. And we'll use you can't use it. I like it. You can't use a jig to staple it. We'll use a jig to measure it.
Oh no, I'll make sure I, as if it were me, that I'd have the fucking ruler there. Top left corner, 3 millimeters in. From the left, 4 millimeters down.
Okay.
Why not 3 and 3? Because fuck you. That's why.
You know what I would do just to piss everyone
It
off?
must be perfectly vertical.
I would not.
No, it has
allow
to be
the-
horizontal. That's the proper way for it to fold.
Ah,
Yeah, I would not allow a staple to be diagonal,
Nope.
just to be a dick. But
Well,
then we oh, go on.
I'd call you a monster, but that'd be something I'd do too, just to piss people off.
Then we get to our balanced budget amendment.
Again, it's that whole thing that it's to make things harder on the people in Congress, because again, being brought up to the whole thing of, due to the fact of how transportation is nowadays and the fact that they could even potentially remotely work, they have far too much time on their hands, when back in the day, majority of that time was spent have to either go to and from or actually working on stuff in their state. I mean, how many fucking senators and congressmen do we see not actually even try to benefit their state? They keep trying to do shit for the country that doesn't need to fucking happen.
Right.
This is why I would change the median income of the nation. I would change it to the median income of their state.
I would not do that. I can't remember our reasons why. I'm sure it's in the book. Why we and I just didn't read it
because Californian, frickin' and New York,
it would. I
that's
believe.
just
I think you're onto it, Angela. I believe our decision was based around creating conditions where the different congressional representatives are not competing with each other. If you know what I mean.
I can
I'm
kind
making
of
this much money, and you're making shit. So fuck you, and all that.
It'd be that whole thing though. That should be irrelevant, because the whole thought process of it should be the fact that they're going there to try to benefit their state or their country as a whole, and not looking at making this a career.
Right.
Well, if
And
they
that's the
benefit
problem,
their
because
state, it
even if you
benefits
say
the
with the
country as a
median
whole.
income of like, because in New York and in California there's a lot of rich people, there's also a metric fuck ton of poor people
There
that's going to
are, but
offset
we
that.
can't have.
Well, the simple fact is that even the minimum wage in California and New York is higher than in other states.
Yeah, but if you got 100,000 people, only 50 people are working, and that's going to very many
When
people.
you're talking about a bunch of people all doing the same job, making thousands of dollars, like making 6 digits a year,
But it also,
making making even 5 digits a year.
it also falls into the
Is
whole thing as well that a lot of people don't realize that median income of the state also has to do with the standard of living and the cost of living, which are not
I
mutually
understand
exclusive.
that.
Right.
I
And
understand that, and that isn't my point. My point is that Congress makes more money than the standard person
Oh,
in
they
any
do, but
oh yeah.
but under our
in any
system, they also lose money.
hmm
There's the we lost somebody.
See, I could legitimately get behind the
Probably
median
did.
income of the country just because for the senators or congressmen or whatever that are going to come from those predominantly wealthier states to where they're going to have that higher median income, even though the cost of living is exceptionally higher, they're going to be a bit more fucked, and it's going to make them actually work to get their goddamn state in order.
Right. But also,
Because like Gavin Newsom
Under-
doesn't fucking give a shit about anyone.
oh no, but he's not Congress either.
No.
That's a state constitution issue.
Yeah.
The other thing is with our system, in more than one place, we put in circumstances where the Congress will lose money. And as it stands right now, our Congress conspires against us to get
Constantly.
more money by benefiting people other than us. The way we've got it set up is they will be inspired to conspire on our behalf instead.
Yeah.
Play
is-
to their greed.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to using the national median income is a good way to keep them all understanding that it's about the country as a whole. I mean, yeah, you're representing California when you're a California congressman, but in Congress you make votes that affect the entire nation. So I mean, you have to have.
Hey, and guess what? With everyone making the same, it's kind of like having a little bit of socialism. You fucks, you got to do better.
Yeah, there's that. But in that way, I forgot what I was going to say. God damn it!
Yeah, I've been known to ruin people's train of thought.
But I mentioned the one thing with the congressional compensation where they can lose money if they take actions that negatively impact the American business environment. And you know, the American business environment is not just company
Well,
X makes this much per year. That's not the business environment. The business environment goes all the way down to each and every one of us. And it does that in the way we've got it set up because their pay is based on what the median income of the state of the country is, which includes every single person as a
Mhm.
legal entity. So we, the people, as individuals, are actually included as part of the business environment in that context. But we have in the balanced budget amendment, we have ways for Congress to fuck around and find out as well. This one's actually in 4 sections. First one, Congress must submit a balanced budget for each subsequent fiscal year no later than March 3rd of the current fiscal year.
My birthday.
Aha.
And they truly need to start actually trying to get out of debt instead of just being like, well, we need the money for this and that. It's like, well, if you'd stop throwing money at shit you don't need to. Kind of like the old joke that's been going around again. We didn't have $5 billion to work and build the wall, but apparently we have $500 billion to fucking give Ukraine and Israel
Yeah. Enough
to
of
build
that
a
shit.
wall.
We deserve. Yeah.
Here's where it gets fun. Section 2. Should Congress fail to submit a balanced budget on time, each member shall be required to pay a penalty of not less than $1,000 per day until such time as a balanced budget has been submitted, which shall be withheld from their congressional salary and used to pay down the principal on the federal debt.
I like it.
Wow.
A.
Again, why? Because fuck you, Congress. You fucked around long enough.
Yeah, and your job's not to fucking go there and to just try to better yourself. Like,
Right,
you want to
serve
do
at the
that?
pleasure of
Fucking
the
better
people.
everybody.
It's a little thing we like to call the consent of the governed.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the conditions, these amendments we wrote, these are the conditions under which we give our consent.
Public servant, not public ruler.
Well,
Yes.
I wouldn't even say servant. I would say employee.
Yeah.
This is one of the mistakes we make as a people. We got to stop thinking of these assholes as our leaders. And we don't really, but they keep on saying, oh, this is so-and-so's providing good leadership. They run to the news and talk about how one of their cohorts is providing leadership or is demonstrating poor leadership. You're not leaders. You're fucking employees. And you know what?
Somebody give you a poor
Review time's coming up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, about to get a poor performance review.
Yep. That's the attitude the American people need to start taking. These are our employees. They're not our leaders. We hired them and paid them to represent our interests. They better start fucking doing it. Shall I go on to section 3 before I get into a rant?
Or do we want to go to a different subject for a while?
There's just 2 more sections. Let's finish off the amendment,
All right.
and then we can fuck off. Section 3. Should Congress fail to submit a balanced budget by September 3rd, that entire Congress shall immediately and permanently cease to be eligible to hold any office of public trust or profit within any jurisdiction of the United States upon the completion of their current term.
I like.
How many got term limits?
Or to phrase it as Donald Trump might, you're fired.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's not even that whole thing of. It's like it's better than typically it is to where it's like, just pack up your office and leave. Now it's like, oh no, you still get to finish out, and you're gonna have to finish out. Just once you're done, you're done.
Yep.
Like we're not going against the contract we have signed with you. We're just telling you flat out you're not getting renewed. And by the way, you still have to do your job.
There are penalties, and you have activated those penalties.
Yeah.
Continue to do the job, but we're not renewing the contract.
The final section is very short, very simple. This article shall take effect on the 3rd day of January following the ratification of this amendment. That's it. People have told me I should run for Congress based on this stuff.
The problem is that
They're going to kick you out.
the problem is DC is full of corruption. You don't want to get any on you.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
BG writes, Mitch, problem is if you combine those 2 proposals, it guarantees we only elect lawyers needing to cite everything and need to write it themselves. I would say more, they must be the primary writer.
The thing is, a lot of the people writing the original laws and writing the Constitution weren't lawyers.
That's right.
But they were brilliant men and statesmen and educated for their time. And then you have the citing everything. That doesn't require a law degree.
No, the Constitution was very much written for the everyman to read and understand.
Yeah. Anybody, literally anybody with a copy of the Constitution, and we got to be completely fair with it, a copy of Noah Webster's dictionary from the late 1700s can completely understand every part of the Constitution to be able to make clear reference to this here is where it clearly authorizes in the Constitution for me to take action and write a law in this regard.
Yep.
And if it slows them out down a day to do the research, all the better. Because Congress is supposed to be slow. They aren't supposed to be there just pushing out laws as fast as they can. They are supposed to be slowly, carefully, and deliberately considering, one, do we have the legal authority to do this? Two, knowing that we do have the legal authority to do this because we checked it, is there any actual need to do it?
Yeah, current Congress doesn't
And
care
then
about
three, if there's reason to do, if there actually is reason to do it, is there a better way to do it than writing a law that applies to this? And the Senate was supposed to be a deliberative body to slow down Congress. At this point, I say anything that slows them down more is just for the good.
Right. Remember when they used to complain about gridlock?
Mhm.
that. Mhm.
Gridlock's the best fucking thing in the world.
Gridlock was the intention.
Yes.
Except that it kind of only really comes into play during setting the budget anymore.
Well, the budget should not be the chore to put together that they claim it is.
Yeah.
I understand that, but it gives them an excuse because they
Oh, that's
can
why you
turn
put.
around and say we need
Well,
to
that's
work
why I
from
took that's why we took the excuse away.
Yeah, that's why you put the pressure on them to.
Do their
Yeah,
fucking
you
job.
have to come to an agreement on this, and you've got firm deadlines with penalties.
Yep. That's the one thing our Constitution, I think, is missing is the concept of penalties. And I don't think our penalties are the penalties we added were in any way really egregious. But you have to, you got to kick them where it hurts.
And like most people, that's the wallet.
Yeah.
Say,
I mean,
I'll,
it's not like we're putting a gun to their children's heads.
say the only way I love that balanced budget requirement. The only other thought that I have is if you run into any kind of situation, which I don't think the way you got it designed, you really couldn't run into one of those government shutdown situations anymore, could you?
No, not really.
No, because it would negatively affect them.
Yeah.
How
The only
about-
thing I consider adding is if despite all of this they have a government shutdown, Congress doesn't get paid during the time of the government shutdown, and they don't get back pay when it comes back.
Agreed.
Drop down?
One of the things that one of my takeaways from writing all that shit, and there are more of them, but one of the takeaways was that without meaning to, we really did write a set of amendments that dovetail really well with each other. And it's almost like serendipitous that it worked out that way.
Now, Green Badger makes an interesting point. It should be a percentage of their salary instead of $1,000.
And I
Well,
don't
see,
know why
thing is-
my
the thing is-
YouTube's deleting it because I don't have fuck all for set up for any of that shit.
My concern with making it a percentage is that they will vote the percentage down.
Well, I mean, if
Honestly,
the percentage is set in the amendment,
yeah, but what's the percentage supposed to be?
At least
That's-
10.
I mean, but it's per day. Do we change the per day status as well?
well, I mean,
Well,
you could make it 1/365th of their pay per day.
All right, I got one better for you.
That we could do.
So basically, for all the time that you don't do this past the deadline, you don't get paid. Your entire salary goes to the
Or
national debt.
let's do it because the congressional term I think is still what is it, 2 years? Yeah.
2 years for representatives, 6 for Senate.
Right. So that doesn't. We didn't do anything to amend that.
Right.
So those terms remain consistent, and we could just make it the pay for that day of their term
Yeah.
instead of 1/365th. But the point being, they need to have something in there that penalizes them when they are, quite frankly, out of order, when they're out of line. I would like to have something more fiercely put in there about when they violate the Bill of Rights, but that's kind of
Oh.
addressed by any legislation having to fall within the confines of the Bill of Rights. So has anyone seen that? What was that movie I just watched?
The movie you just watched?
Oh no, I'm gonna watch The Rock here pretty quick with Nick
Say-
Cage.
I was gonna make the joke of like, no, it's not my shift to stare through your window.
Who's the other guy?
It's my
Sean
shit to
Connery.
step in the window.
Ed Harris. Those guys.
Say, no, the movie I just rewatched was rather, I found entertaining, with Chris Pratt and J.K. Simmons, and they make a good team.
Which movie?
The Tomorrow War.
Oh, I did see that, but it was a while ago. Good point, Badger.
Now they
Inflation being what it is, but
Yeah.
ideally also, under these rules, inflation wouldn't be quite the threat that it is now.
Yeah, because they'd be going to actually make shit better.
Right.
Now it's like the most recent movies I watched was because I didn't feel like I'd caught up predominantly on YouTube and didn't feel like watching anything else. Then it's like, oh, okay, I don't feel like watching any of the shows that I have on Netflix that I want to watch. Let's look at movies. You know what? It's been a long ass time since I've watched Detective Pikachu. And I will still say, like, I don't care what anyone says, I will still say that is actually one of the few video game movies done right.
What was it? Oh, I'm glad you said J.K. Simons because it was one of his movies that I just recently watched. You Can't Run All the Time, I think is what it's called.
I have not seen that one. Guy is amazing actor, though.
Oh God, yes, he's wildly entertaining.
And wait, is that Chris Pratt one, the one you were talking about, where the one where they're like going into the future to fight aliens?
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
He was drafted in the present to fight a war in the future.
Yeah, because they're drafted because they die at a specific time frame.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can be drafted to go to the future because the only way they can make the jump is if they're not alive in the target time.
Yeah.
right.
So the people who come to the past are very young because they weren't alive at the time they're drafting people from, and the people in the present going to the future died before the start of the war.
You Can't Run Forever. That's the name of the movie. The synopsis is a teenage girl suffering from anxiety due to a tragic event from her past finds herself hunted through the woods by a sociopath on her murderous rampage. The thing
And
is-
Badger, with the NFA thing, that was thankfully written into the law of the NFA that the $200 tax or $200 tax could not go up with inflation, which was the one smart thing they actually did. I mean, yes, it was meant to be that whole thing of only the rich people could do it, but I mean, for fuck's sake, when they looked at doing the reason being for short barrel shotguns, the funny part wasn't whether or not a regular person would use it, but was what reasoning the military would have for it. Because if the military had reason for it, then there was obviously a legitimate reason for civilians to have it. Or something.
this
See, and
go on.
I'm just looking now for the NFA to be destroyed on multiple constitutional grounds, including the fact that it introduces a targeted tax specific to and solely to the exercise of a constitutional right, and is therefore totally unconstitutional. That's been ruled in the past already.
Yep.
Minnesota Star. There was a targeted tax on printers ink. Ruled unconstitutional.
Yes. Same thing
they've-
applies with firearms.
Same thing applies with firearms. They have made a targeted tax on bearable arms. It is unconstitutional. Not only should the government have their hands slapped, they should refund every person they've charged for that with interest.
Oh, dude,
Yes.
that's like for the machine guns and whatnot. For the oh shit, I can't remember which one. I know it's predominantly the Hughes one, but there's another one in there for that as well. Like I was watching one of the administrative results videos the other day, and he was bringing up of how the submachine gun he has is, and he said of like, you know, he spent a lot of money in there. It's like for it, but he actually said flat out, I'd be willing to take that all there's like that investment that I put into this gun for that, and let all that get pissed away if it took that fucking law away.
Oh,
I'm like, holy shit, he's one of the few I like, because there are people that are into collecting machine guns that would be pissed if something like the Hughes Amendment got removed. Because it would take that $30,000 machine gun that they own and bring it down to its actual market value and what it's truly worth, which is like $800.
Yeah.
And the simple fact is, we should be manufacturing civilian machine guns today.
Yes, we should.
Because I want a fucking M3A1 grease gun that at the time of World War II, near the end of the war, cost them approximately at the time $15 to manufacture.
Yeah.
So like $180 to 200 and something bucks. You mean to tell me I could get a 45 ACP submachine gun with like a it's like between 6 and 700 or it's like rounds per minute cyclic rate that's easily controllable? Hell fucking yes. Sign me the fuck up, brother.
oh,
You know, it's funny.
I'll duct tape a goddamn flashlight to it.
It's funny when you look at the actual words of the Second Amendment and you realize that that arms is not exclusive to firearms.
Yeah.
You have to start wondering, you know, if that protection then extends to other. Well, in a liberty-based society, this would be the case. You realize that the protection of keeping and bearing arms, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, extends to any weapon you use to maintain the security of a free state. So not only is your camera protected by the First Amendment,
but the second.
but yeah, it's protected by the Second as well.
Yeah.
And
Well, like that's what always
and
bothers.
when you have something that is doubly protected like that, then the government agents who are attempting to steal, suppress, prior restrain, or et cetera, they should be doubly charged for their violation of civil rights.
Oh yeah,
At
and it
least.
should definitely put directly at them of arrogant or ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yes. And really, when you think about it, the suppressor on a firearm, here's where I'm going to have fun with the idea.
It's a bearable arm.
It
Already
is.
determined.
It is. I mean, honestly, if you're using it to kill a tyrant,
Yeah.
who you know, in the defense of yourself or others, and in this case, if it's in the defense of others, and even sometimes in the defense of yourselves as well. If you are firing silently from the darkness to stop a tyrant that's coming after you or someone else, it's legitimate use of force.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't that quiet even with subsonic
no.
ammunition.
No, it's super hard to legitimately get that down to where it's whisper quiet.
Well, yeah, it absolutely is that.
Let's see, but
practically
my
impossible.
thing, and it's probably one of those
But
things that when
my point being, at long range, where you're not going to hear the thing fire if you're the tyrant.
not
So
easily.
you can't like zone in on where it's coming from unless you see a muzzle flash. But hey, that would make the flash suppressor equally as protected, wouldn't it? I maintain that killing a tyrant from the darkness at range in virtual silence is protected by the Second Amendment.
Oh yeah, but no, what I was
Because
going to get
tyranny is
into,
illegal.
what I was getting into that
the
whole thing
problem with
was,
that, Mitch, the problem you have right there is that what people define as a tyrant.
Tyrant
Like, that needs to
tyranny
be
is
clear.
easily defined if you read the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the value of American liberty writ large.
oh yeah, and that shit needs to be just taught in school more often. But no, what I
Yeah,
was
but
actually
it-
going to get into was the whole thing of, and I'm probably going to start hitting on Twitter more when I see it. This is people that say, you know, well, the Second Amendment is only for X, Y, and Z or for militias. And it's like, okay, I want you to explain to me in great detail so much that if I were an idiot of how every other right is for the individual, but somehow this one isn't.
Yep.
It's the second right. Of all the rights, the second right just skips the individual and only means for the group.
You know,
How do they do that?
it's really fascinating that the Second Amendment does something that I can't remember if it's the preamble to the Constitution or
Well,
the Declaration of Independence.
my favorite from that always
Yeah.
comes from the whole thing for like I think it's the Heller decision back in 2008 where everyone's like Scalia got it wrong, and they look at the dissent, but they don't look at what they, and I'm gonna have to look it up in one of these days, make a video on it, because I know Polly really interested me into it, but they don't look at the
Where the
reason.
dissent was,
Yeah, but they
you
don't
have no right to bear. Say,
well they
citizens have no right to bear arms at all.
they
It's a
don't look
dissent.
at the whole thing of the reasons what the for the agreement was, of like a racist Supreme Court judge before that had said flat out, we need to find a way to basically make it so the blacks can't use guns or can't legally have guns, because these law or these rights will extend to them as well when it's like for as freed persons.
Right.
Like they want to go through and just look at the dissent of why it's wrong. It's the reason why the bump stock one makes me laugh. Right? What was it? Brown Jackson, or was it Sotomayor? That's like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, that means it's a duck. And it's like, well, if it, or not if it walks, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, and it's like, well, then you're going to be very confused during duck hunting season, because it's going to sound like a duck and it's going to look like a duck, but it's a fucking decoy.
Yep. Now, the funny thing is, I'll get to that in a second, BG. The funny thing about the Second Amendment and the Declaration of Independence is they both use a word that is generally a plural to indicate the right of the individual. In the Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, that's an individual right.
Mm-hmm.
In the Declaration of Independence, when it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator. It's not saying their creator doesn't mean who that
The
which
Christian
created all of
God.
them. It means who or whatever created each individual.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's that
I
whole
find
thing that
that-
it could
I find
also
that
be
a-
construed as a higher power, but it doesn't necessarily mean one specific higher power.
Right. Their creator.
Mhm.
You could say, in a completely secular sense, you could say it's whatever creator the individual chooses to believe in.
Yeah.
BG writes, the thing about the Second Amendment covering more than firearms, wouldn't be surprised that it covers all military hardware. It does.
Yeah.
People
It does.
owned warships and cannons. Congress didn't care at the time.
Oh, well, they never cared in that whole thing, because it was never illegal to own a cannon. That's why everyone mocked Joe Biden when he's like, you couldn't own a cannon at the time, when during the Civil War and even during the Revolutionary War, I want to say it was, it's like over 90% of the cannons used were privately owned.
Yes.
Yeah, you could own a cannon. You could own any gun that you could afford. The only limitation on weapons in general was, what do you have the funds to acquire and maintain?
Well, yeah, that's what
And-
every time someone says, "Oh, well, who's going?" Yeah, that means anyone can own a nuclear missile. Yeah,
If they can afford it,
because
yeah.
you want to pay to build it, to maintain it, to maintain and erect the launch facility. But talk to me there, Sparky. How much money do you want to fucking spend to own a nuke?
Yeah.
And will it be worth it in the long run? That's what a lot of these anti-liberty people don't understand, is that we're not saying everyone should just own a nuclear weapon. We're saying that someone who can afford to
Should be able
is
to.
probably smart enough to do it responsibly.
Yeah.
And not
And yeah, Badge,
not
I
just
have
Elon
no
Musk.
idea why YouTube's doing that shit. Like, I am way too small for them to care about. Like I'm still, what was it? I think it's 462 subscribers away, and then whatever it is for the rest of it to even be able to apply for monetization. Like,
Yeah.
I'm some fuck all dude.
Well, YouTube doesn't want people delivering truth bombs.
Again, I don't know why they're listening to me when I'm not some fucking Alex Jones things or whatnot. I'm some 38 subscribing having motherfucker.
Color, I'm doing it. No, see, I'll tell you what's happening is this is purely algorithmic,
Oh yeah.
because it's happening in the chat based on what someone types instead of happening with what we say.
Yeah.
Because if it was happening with what we'd say, they'd stop the stream.
Yeah, like when Tyr just let a fucking video go on for too long without actually commenting on it and just kind of giggling a little bit in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally cut the string and then bounced it back on.
Here's a question regarding that. Let's say we have a reaction channel, okay, and we're all sitting there together watching. We got a movie on that we're watching and reacting to, and no one says anything for about 5 minutes because we got pulled into the movie, into the story, and we're just into it, and we're watching to see what happens next. The movie's that good. We're that into it.
It'd still be
This
one of
stuff-
those things
this-
you have to pull the scribe thing to where.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Hold on. I'm about to make an interesting point here. Doesn't the lack of commentary at that point and the lack of tomfoolery and everything else count as a reaction?
It should, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
I would have to say it. I mean, from that perspective, it would have to. I mean, it's a compelling argument, but it would have to still be limited in scope. You couldn't have it be like half the movie or something like
Yeah,
that. But certainly, like if there was a 4 or 5 minute
I'm
section,
going to
that
cut
was
you off a little bit as well. It would also have to be a camera live action type thing to where they're going to have to see your face of the whole thing of everyone can see that it's you're just. You're dumbfounded.
I can agree with that.
Because if it's like we are now, to where, yeah, the only thing you see is the little avatars all over the place, then my ginormous one, you can't tell that I just didn't do what Hassan Piker does and throw something on and walk the fuck away.
Because I think that's what saves us with Never Watch Alone, is that we don't shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're doing fan films too, so that works in our favor as well, because there's no one to claim copyright on a fan film, because the original creator doesn't own a copyright on it. They own a trademark
Yeah.
and an IP, but they don't own a copyright, so they can't copyright strike it. And the person who made the fan film doesn't own the copyright, so they can't copyright strike it.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing. But this week, when we do a movie that was an actual movie that was actually released in theaters in 1980, how's that going to play out? I think we did do one already, though, too.
And BG,
Yeah, we did.
I'm not
We did,
doing 8-hour
8-hour
streams.
What's that?
I said I'm not doing 8-hour streams like Hassan Piker, so it's I'm not gonna walk away to get my nuggies. I'll do that shit off stream. And quite literally, if I were gonna play or do something to where I'm gonna have a stream that long, I'm probably gonna be playing a game. And my problem with
Right.
playing a games is if I'm not there talking with someone, so it has to be something of me playing Monster Hunter with Tyr, or maybe playing 7 Days to Die plausibly with someone else, even though I'm straight trash the fucking game.
Mitch, you gotta remember we did from Hell to the Wild West.
That's right.
And then remember
Yeah,
you try to forget that.
Yeah, that's probably why it doesn't. It only comes up when I talk about when we slip up and pick something shitty.
But like, I'll openly admit, Cutler, if it's that whole thing of like, I got to get up and drop a deuce, I'm probably just going to end the stream. But I typically tend to have
Yeah,
enough
I'm
people
probably going
on
to agree.
stream to where I can be like, hey guys, I'll be right back.
Right, and then you that's why you have a holding screen of sorts. You put up an image, with some bullshit music you slap together with a kazoo, and then no one can copyright it, but you still have something going on.
Oh, people will still try to copyright it.
Oh, I know it.
Like my favorite is the ones
Yeah,
because they played a cover of a classic song. If that classic song is played and happens to use a similar or same instrument that they use in there, they'll try to copyright claim that. It's like, motherfucker, you don't own the song.
They tried
That's
to
why you use a
copyright
kazoo.
claim. They tried to copyright claim Q's song that she sung.
Yeah.
Remember she sung Mr. Blue Sky?
Mhm.
They tried to copyright claim it. And
Come on.
I'm fucked.
Yeah, I've been copy claimed for a cappella covers of songs where the copywritten song is full instruments in the works.
Yeah,
No lyrics?
Mitch,
Huh?
you know your song, the intro song for Never Watch Alone?
Yeah.
Each time I play it, it's a copyright claim. Not a claim, but not a strike, but they ding it.
Do you have the
And I-
attribution in the
I have
description?
the attribution. Yup.
Okay, I don't know why that's happening then. See,
I mean,
none
they-
of that happens on Rumble when you follow the rules.
I mean, if someone else wants to try copyright claiming my freaking intro song, motherfucker, that's me. Like it's me and a buddy from the military when he's messing with one of his things for his DJ thing, is like quite literally I'm just playing like 3 different chords for like a minute and a half.
What it is for that, I believe it's the automated system hearing it, and then it's issuing it, but it doesn't affect the channel.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
But otherwise, it's been like 2 hours. So,
Oh, yes.
and I still got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to really work them.
Yeah, so do I.
I still have to create an intro for, or not an intro, but a title bit for Minions of the Zoo in Space for tomorrow night.
Hey, I'm still
Yeah.
glad I finally got that update out. It's kind of a shitty little update video, but it's been one I've been meaning to get out, and then I'm gonna continue on to put like 50 rounds to the gun to see how well that optic hand holds up. But we're gonna be calling it to a close. Thanks for everyone who joined us. Tier and Jesus Christ, I can't think now. Tier and Mitch will be doing Minions of the Zoo tomorrow night on the Minions channel, while they're predominantly playing, the background of them playing one of the Star Trek Online games, or the only one that's online. I don't know. I don't play it. It is mostly background, and they'll talk Star Trek and other stuff. I'll probably show up and be a bit of an asshole because it's what I do. I haven't decided if I'm going to go to the gym this week because I got 2 12-hour shifts. Thursdays, they got the Never Watch Alone, and on Mondays as well, Angela's on Mr. Adams' channel. Will, do you have anything through the week?
I may or may not be on Mooney's Wednesday night, and then of course my regular art stream should be up on Saturday.
I was going with the
and I
work
sh-
week.
I should be available to join in on Never Watch Alone Thursday.
So they'll have the Never Watch Alone.
I think I've got Thursday off this week and next.
So
Oh, right on.
Will maybe join. That'll be on Tier's channel on Thursdays. If you look up his channel, it's in the description somewhere.
6 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Mitch, you doing anything throughout the regular work week? We're not including the weekends yet.
Well, I'm still working on scripts for my Dear Americans thing. I got sidetracked by an assassination attempt.
Yeah,
So I
that
completed a script on that, but I decided I'm not going to produce that one.
yeah, that'll do. No.
But I'm still working on the first script I was writing. But
So,
that,
yeah.
that's Dear Americans is coming. I may use that as a
Well,
as-
Mitch
as
mostly
a-
has his stuff on Rumble, so his
Yes.
Rumble's in the description. So go ahead and check it out. On Saturdays, we'll have, is it a painting or a game stream?
Saturday, this should be a painting stream.
Because it depending on whatever the week is, I think it's whether it's an odd or even. It's either watching paint dry or a video game stream.
Yeah,
And then later
I
on-
I don't do alternating weeks. I literally do it evens and odds. So
Yeah,
sometimes
his
it's
is
back to
based
back.
his is based in the day, not like mine, to where I'm like, let's make this a little easier. But then we'll have the midnight show. I almost said Talking to the Void. Jesus fucking Christ, I am out of it. On Tier's channel, where obviously you're gonna have James joining us again, as long as his phone doesn't get super hot. I'm almost halfway tempted to ask him his address and just send him my old netbook after I delete a bunch of shit off of it that's irrelevant.
Gay porn.
Why would I leave that on there?
Moonshock's laptop.
I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
I mean, the only reason I'd have that is to send it to congressmen that aren't gay. That's like the person I had heard about that always make sure they shit in a plastic bag so they can vacuum seal it, and they mail it to like the IRS and their congressmen. And it's like, I was going to be upset, but you're just doing the Lord's work. But Will be joining as like with us there on that one as well. Who's the guest this weekend?
Mr. Adam.
Mr. Adam. Will he be there? Will he be high? Will it be both? Find out next time on the Midnight Show. Not going to try that Dragon Ball Z thing. And then Sunday, we will be doing a movie review stream of one of my personal favorite Nicolas Cage movies, Lord of War.
Can't wait.
Ah, yes. The dude he plays is such a obliterate bastard, but I cannot help but love that movie. And that's about everything, I believe. So, final parting words or thoughts or whatever. Tier, go.
Be excellent to each other.
I would say Angela, but it looks like we lost her. Or she bounced out. And I missed it. So, Will, parting whatevers, go.
Remember to have your politicians and Congress people spayed or neutered.
I guess getting into the freaking amendment stuff and whatnot, law stuff got above James's head that he wanted to deal with it. But then to final it off, parting whatevers, Mitch.
Marriage is like a horse with a broken leg. You can shoot the horse, but that don't fix the leg.
Yeah.
That's so deep I almost fell in.
Depend on where you live in that whole thing. I don't know whether you live in the States, it's like the United States or not. If you don't own a firearm, but are of the legal age and legality to own a firearm, I highly recommend it. If you don't, if you think some of them are too expensive, I highly recommend looking into Palmetto State Armory. Their dagger isn't the best, and it has had some issues, but you can go through and get a internals kit for a Glock that's extremely cheap, and they are easy to work on. So quite literally, for less than the price of a brand new Glock, you can get one of the Palmetto State ones that usually also comes with like 10 extra magazines. And that shit, they do sales all the goddamn time. They also sell AR-15s extremely cheap as well. So definitely be prepared, because you never know. To quote Patton, or no, was it Patton? Or no, it wasn't Patton. It was fucking Mad Dog. General Madison? Fuck, I can't remember what Mad Dog's name was. No, but always carry a knife in case you have to cut someone. Or there's cake.
Mhm.
But mostly cutting someone.
So have a good one, folks.
Bye, all.
Later.
Shake it naked.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.